people should be exercising more. One of the things we did recently with our clients at Leeds Heart Health and Homes is we did a consultation around exercise and the classes that people wanted to attend, and would they attend their local sports centre. And I would say 90% of them said no, absolutely not. And we questioned why. It was because they wouldn't feel comfortable going into a sports shop to buy the gear. They wouldn't have the confidence to go in to a gym. They'd never been anywhere in their life. So when people are talking about, oh, enough of us don't do exercise, often it's not just about getting into the gym, it's the whole lead up to it and what it
Kate,
involves.
that's an interesting point, because they always say that a lot of girls really keen on sport, you reach your teenage years and then suddenly, and traditional school sport has been seen as a bit of an enemy here, people think, I don't want to be doing that, I'm very self-conscious, what will the lads think? Is there an element of that, do you think? Or
I think the thing is, you're so right, you've got to enjoy it. And I started going for private dance lessons again a couple of years ago, which I had to give up because of timing. I think the hardest thing is when you're out there and you're very busy, it's your punishing schedule, trying to fit it in. I'm more inclined to do exercise when I'm away, actually, because I'm more in control of my timing. But I think you're quite right in how we view it, and is it enjoyable? I mean, I played rugby league.
Did you really?
Yes, I was one of the first ever girls in Yorkshire to play rugby league, and I was very, very proud rugby league player for Yorkshire, and we made the breakthrough because it was the only sport I could get passionate about. And we worked as hard to fight for our opportunity to do it as we did for the chance of doing it. But when I was on the field, I loved every single moment of it. Then I became a Gaelic queen and I wasn't allowed to do both. So it's just one of those things, You're not allowed to wear a crown and have a black eye, apparently. But, I think you've got to love it. You've got to enjoy it. And the thing is, we do go into gyms, even clothes, exercise clothes, they don't fit properly.
No,
you feel really conspicuous in them. So, I think we probably need a bit of a helping hand, and sometimes just a really nice walk around Bretton Sculpture Park or somewhere like that can be as invigorating.
Definitely.
I've got 2 dogs, exactly.
Yeah,
Can I ask you about
gotta
Zumba? Because I spoke to somebody recently, I think it was Allerton Bywater High School there, was going for this world record Zumba attempt. And lovely lady, full of enthusiasm. And I said, what is Zumba? And she explained, and I still at the end of it didn't understand, what is Zumba?
It's a bit of every single dance. I'm going to have a Zumba expert on the phone now. But it's a bit of every different dance put together in a high energy workout. So it's like we used to go to aerobics, you saw the skits in the 80s of Dawn and French doing it, but if you imagine the speed of the track going 10 times the speed, it's kind of that. So you're coordinating, you're using everything.
Hence why
very
the film
high impact.
of you and the people in the class
You
is
have
so
to
funny.
see it. You have to see it. It is quite hilarious. But the great thing is we're laughing, and if we're laughing, we're enjoying it. And if we're enjoying it, we're more likely to do it.
I tell you what I like as well, the whole Jane Tomlinson mentality of the run for all, walk for all, swim for all, whatever you want to do.
Give it a go,
for all.
isn't it?
It is, and I've done a bit of running over the years, but the whole democracy of it, if you're standing there at the start line, you don't know who's who. You could be somebody who runs a major company to the person who empties the bins in that major company, and you've no idea who they are and where they fit. And I really, that sounds a bit daft to say it, but the whole business, whether it's watching a London Marathon on the telly or whatever, makes me feel quite emotional because it really levels people.
I think that, and I think the breakthrough breast cancer runs have been brilliant as well, because I've done them all now, and the 10k, and you can run, you can walk, as long as you're part of it. That's the main thing. But I think we've got to take some of the snobbery value out of exercise, because people who are novices can feel uncomfortable. The gear can make you feel uncomfortable. You go into a gym with all the mirrors around you and you're not feeling at your best. That's a hard task. And what you're going to do, you're going to look worse. You're going to look bright red-faced, sweating after it, So I think we've kind of got to find places we feel comfortable. And actually, some of the council sports centres are the best places for that.
There we are. We have no mirrors in here. We can do what we like. But whether we release that Zumba video in time for Christmas, that could be the different thing.
If it's for charity, I don't mind.
I'll tell you one thing it's interesting for me, Jenny, is there's a message here from these researchers in Lancet, the medical journal, saying they want a new way of thinking, which means that we'll be warned about the dangers of inactivity rather than be reminded of how good exercise is. So in other words, if you don't do it, it will kill you, rather than it might be a nice idea if you go out.
I don't think it's lack of education with people who are that little bit older. Thinking about our clients, they know that they're told they should be doing more exercise. They know all of that, and scaring them with, oh yes, you could have a heart attack, isn't going to help. Whereas if you kind of address the reasons why they're not comfortable doing these classes, then they might actually
I
do
think if we say go and join Kate and her mates and have a laugh at the Zumba class, that might be the answer,
yeah.
Kate, don't you think?
It's really inspiring. We've got a walking group every second week, and it's about 10 people. They go all over Yorkshire in different places. Our minibus brings them. And, you know, most of the guys are 80 plus, and they're doing 6 to 8 miles. But you don't hear about those guys. I just think fair play, and they're the inspiring ones. And
it's fair dues.
Yeah,
fair dues here. Fair play in Ireland.
Wednesday, BBC Radio Leeds, Andrew Edwards with Kate Hardcastle, Outstanding Businesswoman of the Year. She was voted. She runs Insight with Passion Business Transformation, based here in West Yorkshire and over the other side in Manchester. We will mention that. And Jenny Whisker from Leeds Irish Health and Homes, based in Sheepscar in Leeds. Andrew then till 6 on BBC Radio Leeds, but our Witter until about 10 to 4 or so. Then we have our 3 after 3 tunes, and I took a nice call from Marilyn in Battle yesterday, who told me that Brian Auger, it was his birthday today, so I'd heard of Brian Auger as in Brian Auger and the Trinity and Julie Driscoll, so we're going to play This Wheel's on Fire. He is indeed 73 today, played with Rod Stewart, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Eric Burdon and more. I could go on, so we'll play some Brian Auger. Martha Reeves celebrating today, as is one of the stars of Ace. So
I was Martha Reeves' backing singer. You do know this, don't you? I was a Vandella. I love her.
She is. Are we going to have a hazard a guess at how old the...
She's timeless.
She's timeless. There we
go.
What a good answer that is. It's her birthday today. Martha Reeves and of Ace, Phil Harris today. So that's our 3 after 3 tunes from 3:45. The timeless Martha Reeves and 73-year-old Brian Auger. There we are. There's a message there. 3:20.
At the heart of West Yorkshire, Martin Kellner at breakfast.
BBC Radio Leeds.
Join me, Martin Kellner, from 6:30 tomorrow morning for some of this. Samantha says, please, ask how a city with the highest youth unemployment could be one of Bradford's strengths. Is he on high-potency Prozac? A bit of this. Izzy Dive, an actress, was concussed after being hit on stage by a kettle. We're happy to make it clear that Ms. Dive suffered minor bruising, not concussed. And plenty of this. Favoured by celebrities such as Jay-Z, or should it be Jay-Z? I did that. I know it's Jay-Z.
You didn't.
Because I've got children.
Martin Kellner at breakfast.
Back tomorrow morning from 6:30. BBC Radio Leeds.
BBC Radio Leeds, Andrew Edwards, 21 minutes past 3. Jenny and Kate are 2 Wednesday Witterers today, who you've met for the first time this afternoon, haven't you? And you just asked a really interesting question, Kate.
Because
you're a Yorkshire lass, so what have you just asked?
Well, I'm Yorkshire, but 2 generations ago we were O'Reillys. We came from O'Reilly stock, and I'm absolutely fascinated because when I'm over in Ireland, even though so many things are different, there's this feeling that it just feels the same, you know. And I just asked, do you think there's a similarity between that Yorkshire warmth, straight talking, that Irish, quality?
And I think that's probably why I'm so comfortable and happy over here, because I don't think I could have moved from Ireland straight into London. And and also the Yorkshire thing, even though there's great cities, there's always also amazing countryside.
Exactly,
and it's that nice balance. But it is.
Do you work for the tourist board?
I could work for the tourist board for Yorkshire. I've stood on stage in Hong Kong, Sydney, you name it, saying, this is Yorkshire, this is where I live, look at this little cafe, don't they do great customer service? I just love it.
I have to say, my husband is the proudest Yorkshire man you will ever meet, and it's probably the only part of the country really that people will say they're Yorkshire before they're British, you know, that's actually who I am and what I do. But it is very much the friendly thing and people talking to each other and nice places to go.
When I do like presentations in London, in the city particularly, my accent gets stronger. The more someone talks with RP in that kind of beautiful accent,
it brings it out.
The more I go, right then, so what we're going to do with your business is... and I can hear myself doing it, going, stop doing it, Kate, stop doing it, Kate. And it's almost like becoming effective. But I'm so proud, I really am. And I was sent for elocution lessons because I did a lot of public speaking. And it's the only class I ever skived because I just didn't want it. I didn't want to lose my accent. I love it so much, even though sometimes there's a translation problem. We do international seminars and sometimes the translators, you can see they're looking at me going... What are you saying?
Well, it's like that in my house sometimes. Ben will say something and I'll say, and someone said to me, what do you know? And I was like, what do you know about what? And like, I mean, how are you?
What we'll do next time is we'll subtitle these two. That would be great on the radio. Well, I'm hearing most of it, don't worry. 23 minutes past 3, BBC Radio Leeds, Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday Witterers, Jenny Whisker, Kate Hardcastle. I'm Andrew Edwards. So we talked about exercise in this report from some medical researchers about us not doing enough exercise and lack of exercise now killing more people than smoking does. does. Something I heard Wes talking about today, Wes Butters, 9 till 12 in the morning here on BBC Radio Leeds, was your favourite way of keeping in touch. I just thought I would just... This is not a big topic, this. I just wanted to find out where, with so many ways of getting in touch at our disposal, where you would turn first. And the reason that this is the telecoms regulator, Ofcom, they found